Hello everyone, I am here to chat about one of my favorite things, wine. And we're going to make a beautiful sangria together because we love making tea sangrias with our fruit teas and we can get really creative. So I'm gonna kind of make a really fun tropical summer patio drink here using one of our brand new teas from our new spring and summer 2021 catalog. So this catalog is absolutely filled with amazing new fruity teas. Everything from a strawberry daiquiri fruit tea to a key lime pie rooibos tea to the one that I'm using today. Oh, did I mention watermelon matcha? The one I am using today, I am absolutely in love with. It is the Hawaiian pineapple sangria fruit tea. Oh my gosh. It has, if you could smell this tea. It has giant chunks of pineapple in it, dried pineapple, which like hydrate when you steep it. See them in there. It has pineapple pieces, mango pieces, papaya, lemongrass, lime, safflower petals, natural flavor. So it is a really tropical tasting fruit tea. And so we're gonna make a sangria together. Okay, so my favorite pitcher, hands down, for making sangrias, iced teas, all those fun drinks, is this perfect tea pitcher of ours. So this is a 2-liter pitcher, or I think is 1.9 liters. It is glass and it has a strainer in the lid. So you can add your tea leaves to whatever you're brewing up in here. And when you pour, the leaves will strain out as you pour. You can just leave them in there. So in here right now, I have 1 bottle of wine. So that's just 1 bottle of wine, folks. And you know what? If you want to keep things real simple in your sangria steeping shenanigans, you could just throw 2 bottles of wine in here, add a couple good scoops of the tea, let that steep overnight, or like 4 hours at least, and there you go. Boom, you have sangria. But today I'm going to show you how you can add other things to your 1 bottle of wine, which A, stretches your wine, B, makes it just a little bit of a lighter, more refreshing drink, and C, is just so much fun. So I used just a cheap Pinot Grigio, $10 bottle of wine. That is all you need. This is like my favorite go-to wine, white wine to drink. Like it's a drier white is what I like. So when I make sangrias, I actually often will use a sweet white. So I don't normally drink sweet whites, but in the sangria, it's quite nice. So like a Moscato is nice. And then I use sparkling water to kind of even out that sweetness. I find that is a little bit more of like a crowd pleasing sangria, just having that extra little bit of sweetness to it. But anyways, today, this is what I had. So this is what I'm going to use. And I do like things dry. So we've got 2 scoops and I used my pot scoop, which I don't think I have here, but it's 1.5 tablespoons. So I used 2 good pot scoops of my Hawaiian pineapple sangria tea into my wine, and I just let that steep overnight in the fridge. And another thing that you can do too is you could actually funnel your tea right into your bottle of wine and just lay that down in your fridge and let that steep overnight like that if you don't have an infusing pitcher, and then just use some sort of infuser to strain out the tea. But all my customers always tell me they make more iced teas and sangrias when they have the infusing pitcher, so they're fun to have. Okay, so let's add all the good stuff to this and see what happens. Okay, so that's only 1 bottle of wine in there. Now, since this is Hawaiian pineapple sangria, we're gonna just like totally hit on the tropical theme here. And I am going to add some pineapple juice to this. So I'm gonna measure it out because I am usually not one to measure anything. I just like dump things together and create. But my customers love to have recipes. So, I have to be a little more diligent with that. So let's try like 4 ounces of the pineapple juice. And you know what I'm going to do? Because, and I'll just mention this, if you're using pineapple or orange juice that's quite pulpy in this pitcher, when you go to pour it, it's probably going to kind of gum up your lid and you're gonna have to be rinsing off your lid. So what you could do is just pour through a strainer just to kind of get that pulp out. This actually doesn't look very pulpy, so I'm just gonna pour it right in. So I'm gonna do 4 ounces of that. I can hardly wait to drink this, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Okay, so 4 ounces of pineapple juice, and we might add a little bit more. We'll see where we end up here. I'm kind of creating this recipe as I go. And because I have this in my liquor cabinet, we're gonna add a little extra liquor to it. Now, you definitely don't have to do that. The wine can be enough. But with this recipe, I thought like a Malibu rum would be really nice. So I'm out of that, but I had this pineapple rum, which is really, really good. And it's super tropical. So this will be good. I'm gonna add 2 ounces of this, if I have 2 ounces left in this bottle. But if you really love that coconutty flavor, then I would add some coconut rum. That would be really good. Okay, so we're gonna go with 2 ounces of that. And then we are going to add in some fruit. So I happen to have a fresh pineapple. So I have some fresh pineapple cut up that I'm going to throw in. And if you have frozen fruit on hand, that is a great thing to use in your sangrias, because you know what? It cools it down and it adds great flavor. So I've also got some frozen mango. So I'm kind of gonna keep in with our tropical theme here, add in a little handful of frozen mango to that. Here we go. And then what I will be topping this up with is some sparkling water. So you could use just plain club soda, or you could use any flavored sparkling water that you want. Or if you like things sweet, or you're using a dry wine and you want to sweeten it up, use a ginger ale or Sprite or anything like that. That would also work great. But I love my sparkling water. So I've got some coconut LaCroix. I'm going to add that to add the coconut to our Hawaiian drink here. And you know what else I think would be really excellent is that new pineapple bubbly. Am I right? I haven't got that one yet, but I know that that will be so good in the sangrias. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a spoon. We'll give that a little stir. And then, I mean, you could add you could probably fit in 1 more bottle of sparkling water if you wanted to, or you could add some ice cubes to that. So if you're making a white wine sangria and you just want it nice and chilled and cold and ready for the patio, add some ice cubes to that. And I would throw this in the fridge now at this point and like give it like an hour, let those flavors really come together after you've added your extra things. Am I forgetting anything? No, I don't think I am. So I'm going to, of course, just give it a little taste so we can see what's happening here. Cheers. Oh God, it tastes like summer, you guys. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so good. So I'm throwing that in my fridge and it's going to be even better in like an hour. Now, this is just an example. So when it comes to making sangrias, first of all, if you're watching this and you're like, I don't drink wine, I don't like wine, you can make sangria with other things. So instead of the wine, use like a cider. And of course, you're not gonna wanna pour your cider in here and steep it overnight, because then you're gonna lose your fizz from the cider, right? So when you're steeping your tea into something that is sparkling, like a ginger ale, sparkling water, cider, anything in a can, it only needs like 10 minutes and it infuses a ton of flavor. So you can actually make like a cider sangria and it's ready to drink in like 20 minutes. So I would use a couple cans of cider, a couple cans of sparkling water, some frozen fruit, a couple scoops of my desired fruit tea, any of them would be great, and let that steep. And you've got a quick sangria. So that's another really fun way to make sangria. And if you want to do it as a mocktail, buy some white grape juice and use that in place of the wine. And that works really, really well. It's quite sweet. So I would definitely counter that with the sparkling water. I'm just looking for the fruit tea page here in the catalog, so I can just chat about some different flavor combinations real quick before I let you go here. Okay, I keep forgetting that the teas are in the back of the catalog here. Okay, so here's some of our fruit teas. I am a huge fan of the fruit teas. I love them for the iced teas and for making the sangrias and cocktails and mocktails and all the fun stuff. Now, if you're a red wine person, you can make a very similar sangria using your red wine. And sometimes what I do too is I will steep a couple big scoops of my tea in like 2 cups of water overnight. Water and the wine together. So it's diluting the wine a little bit, but it's adding a ton of flavor with that fruit tea. And then I will top it off with like 1 can of ginger ale or 1 can of sparkling water. So that's another way you can do it, and you can incorporate some water into that. Okay, so depending on what flavors you like, you could look through the page of fruit teas, and if you're like, okay, I love peach, so you can make a beautiful sangria using the peach schnapps fruit tea, and it's actually quite a tropical tasting one as well. I would make it similar to how I made this one. I wouldn't do it in the red wine. I don't think that doesn't really make sense in my brain. You love mango. We have a magical mango fruit tea that is phenomenal. It's good in both. Primarily I use it with white wine, but I'm sure it would be good with the red as well. My favorite with red is Berry Mania, hands down. I've got some right here. This Berry Mania fruit tea is one that we've had around for years, and it has really, really strong, deep berry flavor. It has elderberry in it, and currants is fantastic. And it gives it just a deep, beautiful, strong fruitiness and berry depth to the red wine. So that is an excellent one in the red wine. What was I just gonna say? Oh, the citrus mint sangria. Love that one. I usually use that though with like, I'll make a whole pitcher of it, but I steep it with ginger ale. Sometimes I do half ginger ale, half sparkling water because I don't like things super sweet. And then I add gin. So I make like a gin smash with it. It's so good, but good in wine as well. And the raspberry cosmopolitan, I have to give a shout out to that tea as well because it is an absolutely beautiful flavor. I think I've only done it with white wine and with ciders. And of course, as an iced tea, it's excellent, but it probably would be really good with a red wine too. All right, so that's just a few ideas of how you can make a really fantastic sangria and how easy it is. Seriously, it's really easy, and it's really fun to get creative, and you can add in whatever sort of liqueurs or frozen fruits you want. If you have a triple sec or Grand Marnier, like an orange liqueur, that is kind of a staple and a great liqueur to use in your sangrias. Really excellent with the red sangrias, but it would be good with the whites too. Gives that little, and you only have to add like an ounce or two, and it gives a really nice flavor. And you don't have to add the fruit juice, but I did have the pineapple juice, so I thought that would go really well with this, and it did. It's excellent. If you have an orange kicking around in your fridge, add some orange slices, maybe squeeze half an orange into it. Just get creative and have fun and enjoy your sip. And if you have any questions, just let us know. All right, cheers guys, and happy sipping.